Hi guys, welcome back to the Somewhat Thriving podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Stevens. Here on Somewhat Thriving, we are going to be talking about all things navigating your 20s, embracing life's messy moments, trying to become the best versions of ourselves, and ultimately learning to thrive when life feels anything but put together. Today, we are going to be talking about finding peace in progress, okay? I wish that I could sit here and tell you that I'm starting off 2025 the most motivated that I've ever felt and the most excited that I've ever been, but I'm sorry, that's just not the case. If I'm being completely honest, the last few months of 2024 were probably some of the hardest months of my life, and I never had felt and experienced so much anxiety, brain fog, burnout, and just the feeling of being overwhelmed in my life. And I think that there was a lot of pressure, and there always is a lot of pressure with the new year to just automatically reset everything. And although I think that that is amazing that that energy kind of comes with the new year, sometimes it's not realistic because life happens, and sometimes it's not just easy to magically reset your whole entire life because the number of the year changes. So instead of putting on a front that I am the most motivated that I've ever been and I'm so excited for 2025, I'm just going to be real with you guys, and I'm going to share some mindset shifts that I feel like are helping me in this stage and season of my life. I'm going to go over some ways to reconnect with yourself in 2025 because I feel like sometimes when you are going through hard times, you can feel very disconnected from yourself. And then we're also going to talk about some actionable ways to actually make change in the new year. But before we get started, I'm going to introduce my very first segment of the show. I'm so excited. This is going to be called Thrives and Dives. Basically, I'm going to be sharing one thing that has been making me happy from this last week, aka the Thrive, and then one thing that's maybe making me, a little bit anxious or frustrated or just basically like down, and that is going to be aka the dive. My thrive for the week actually might not make much sense and kind of is like opposite of what you might think a thrive is, but it is having a breakdown. Like I kind of mentioned before, the last few months have been just rough. Okay, girl, life has been lifing, let me tell you. And I feel like it's kind of hard for me to sometimes feel my emotions and let out my emotions, like I'm sure a lot of us can relate to. And I really don't like crying. I feel like it's a waste of time. And I feel like it's so draining and just like sad, and I don't like to be sad. And so I try to avoid it at all costs, but I eventually and finally had the breakdown of a century. Okay, I think I cried for like 2 days. It was really, really sad, but honestly, it's my thrive because I felt so much better after. Having a breakdown and really just like crying everything out and feeling everything so deeply can be so healing, so draining, but so healing. And I just felt so much weight lifted off my shoulders after that happened. And so I'm really grateful for it. I feel like eventually it all needs to come out and you need to feel everything to finally like let it pass. And then for my dive for the week, this is a little bit crazy. Okay, don't judge. It is my screen time. My daily average screen time, and it is, and I quote, over 10 hours a day. Don't judge. We listen and we don't judge, okay? I do want to preface that I do social media for my job and it is my living. And so I think a lot of it obviously comes from that. But I will say 10 hours is insane, and I really want to lower that in 2025 because there's no reason that I should be looking at a screen for 10 hours each day. Like that's literally almost half of the day. That's ridiculous. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about understanding the season that you are in right now, currently. Something that I've had to really accept and learn is that we are going to all be in different seasons, and some seasons are meant for growth, some are meant for reflection, and some are meant for success. Some are meant for rest, okay? And it is normal to not be in the same season all your life or the same season that your friend is in, because we're all so different and we all are going through different things. It really makes sense that we're all in different seasons of life. I've been fortunate enough to live a lot of my life feeling pretty happy and positive and motivated and driven and all the things. So I think when I enter a season of life that might not really feel like that, and is a little bit more, feeling like I'm burnt out and maybe anxious, and I feel like I can't get out of that type of headspace, it really has been hard for me. And I think the biggest thing that has helped with that is just really giving yourself self-compassion, because literally everybody goes through different seasons of life. And I was actually talking to my mom the other day about this, because I was telling her how I just had been doing some reflection of the last few months and just kind of reflecting on how hard it's really been. And she really helped me, because she explained to me that literally nobody, as much as we try to make it seem like we have it all put together, nobody knows what's really going on. Everybody in this world is waking up every single day and just trying to do the best that they possibly can. And some people are better at, I guess, faking it and acting like they have it all put together. But I promise you, every single person, if they haven't already, they will experience a season of life that is hard and they feel like they have no idea what's going on and that they're lost and confused, especially in your 20s. I feel like that is pretty, common, but even outside of your 20s as well. And that's kind of where reframing your mindset comes in, and where this is super helpful and really important to learn in your life so that you can live the most positive and happy life. Because obviously, yes, there's going to be seasons of sadness, but you can control what you focus on and what you decide to put your energy in. And I think you really can train your mind to be a more positive and happy place if you really want to. The main mindset that I have kind of tried to adopt is looking at all experiences, whether they're sad or happy or exciting or exhilarating or whatever, as learning experiences, and especially setbacks, because yes, setbacks hurt and they suck, but they give you so much experience. I think this mindset of looking at setbacks as learning experiences can really make things just a little less overwhelming, because yes, it might suck whatever you're going through, but ultimately it's going to make you grow as a person. It's going to make you smarter. It's going to help you make better decisions in the future, and it's going to shape who you are and build your character ultimately. And that's actually really cool and amazing. The first way that you can reframe your mindset is choice of wording, okay? And my main one here that I want to highlight is changing your wording from I have to I get to. For example, instead of saying I have to go work out today, saying I get to go work out today. I have to go and do my homework versus I get to go and do my homework. I have to cook dinner versus I get to cook dinner. It's the tiniest shift and change of wording, but honestly, if you do it consistently, it will change your mindset to be so much more positive. My next one is visualization, and this kind of plays a role into manifestation and just kind of overall having a positive and optimistic mindset in life. When you're starting a new habit and you want to make a lifestyle change, say it's, going to the gym, it can seem very overwhelming kind of starting your fitness journey, because you might, have this image of what you want to have your body look like at the end, or how you want to feel by the end of your journey, the ultimate goal. And that can be very overwhelming. But I think looking at it in smaller parts and really visualizing how you're going to feel can be so much less overwhelming. Instead of looking at the whole process and the end goal, which is going to take a while to get there, you can, think about, okay, how am I going to feel in 2 weeks into this? How am I going to feel in a month? How am I going to feel in 6 months? And you can kind of really visualize and feel how you feel in that moment. You can visualize what the type of person you're going to be in 2 weeks from starting and being consistent in the gym, and really like embody and really visualize how that feeling feels. A way I really like to do this is before I even get out of bed and I'm literally just waking up and kind of, I still have my eyes closed, but I'm kind of awake. I try to sit there and visualize how I want my day to go, how I want to feel throughout my day. This alone has made my days so much more positive. Instead of rolling over and scrolling on your phone, close your eyes and visualize how you want your day to go and how you want to feel. I promise you, it'll start off your day in such a more positive way. My third one is to focus on effort over results. Okay, celebrate even showing up. Embrace the messy moments. For example, if you planned on going to the gym and you didn't end up at the gym, but you did end up going on a walk, I want you to celebrate that, because that is still showing up for yourself in just a different way, and that's okay. My fourth and final tip to reframe your mindset is to keep a running list of good things that happen to you. I actually just started this year in 2025. I've only done it this last few days of the year. I think it's been like 4 or 5 days. And basically, I just put it in my notes app, and it's a title that says "Good Things Happen to Me." And my goal is that every single day at the end of the day, before I put my phone away at night, I'm going to write down one thing that happened to me that was good today. Finding one thing a day that was positive and that made you smile or made you feel somewhat good, even if it was literally like eating one of your favorite meals or your coffee or a smile from a stranger, whatever it may be. It is so helpful to have just that one thing, even if you had a super crappy day, to make your mindset more positive and to kind of reframe things a little bit. It's really about the little changes and tweaks that you make every single day and the constant efforts that you consistently do and the habits that you consistently adopt every single day that is going to lead up to you having a really positive mindset. Now let's go over some ways to reconnect with yourself, because I truly think that the most important relationship that you will ever have in this life is with yourself, because you are the one person ever in this life that you have to constantly be with 24/7. So you might as well be connected to that person and like that person, not just love that person, because you're kind of stuck with yourself. Journaling will always be my number one habit that will always bring me back to life and reconnect with myself, especially if you aren't in therapy or if you kind of struggle with talking about your feelings and expressing your feelings. Nobody's going to judge you in your journal. You can literally write down whatever the heck you want in there, and it just feels very releasing and kind of, a weight lifted off your shoulders. I'm going to post on the Somewhat Thriving Instagram account like a whole list of different journal prompts for specifically reconnecting with yourself, but I just want to share a few just to kind of get you guys started. Number one is, what are your top 5 priorities in life? I think that this is very helpful and healing to kind of think about, so that you can really align with what your goals are, what type of person that you want to be, what type of people you want in your life. I think it's just really, really good to kind of hone in on your priorities, because you might kind of have an idea of what your priorities are in life, but sometimes when you're in different seasons of your life where you're a little lost or overwhelmed, you can kind of stray away from those priorities and kind of prioritize different things that might not be really aligned with your values, or maybe not the healthiest. And I think it's really important to kind of come back to those core priorities that you want to focus on. Another one I love is, what would you do if you knew that you could not fail? Because at the end of the day, there is no reason that you cannot make all of your dreams and hopes and anything in your life that you want to actually happen. There's no reason. There's you truly can make anything that you want to happen in your life if you really, really want to. And so what is that thing that you would do if you knew you couldn't fail at it? And then go deeper and ask yourself, well, what's stopping me from doing that? And can I make it happen? Can I make changes in my life to make it happen? One more is, how would someone describe you to a friend? And do you like that description? If somebody was talking to you about somebody else, like, how would they describe your life? How would they describe your personality, the type of person that you are, the type of company you keep? Is that type of description that they would say something that you are proud of and that you feel accomplished by? Because if not, you can make those changes to become the type of person that you want to be. And I don't want you to get overwhelmed because, thinking about that can be very daunting and overwhelming. But truly going back to the small steps every single day, in order to become the best version of yourself and that, higher version of yourself that we all want to be, you have to make the small actionable steps every single day. You have to reframe your mindset to be more positive and do the tiny little, word changes and tweaks throughout your day, because small efforts make big actionable, what's the word? Small efforts make big change, or whatever it may be, that quote. It's so true. Like, the small steps every single day really lead up to the person that you want to be ultimately. I've said it once and I'll say it again. One of the most ways that you can connect with yourself is to spend time alone. And I know a lot of you are going to be like, Kayla, I do not want to spend time alone. That's the last thing I want to do, especially when I'm like sad or depressed. I don't want to spend more time alone in my head. But I promise you, if you spend time figuring out the things that make you happy just by yourself, not anybody else in the mix, literally just finding the things that make you genuinely happy, is really key to kind of, connecting with yourself. Find the things that make you thrive, whether it's hobbies that you pick up like painting or pottery or walking outside or rock climbing. My favorite way to do this is to have kind of intentional and slow mornings with myself where I don't scroll on my phone and I spend time doing the things that I know are going to start off my day in a positive way and make it so that the rest of my day is really good. And some of those things are, like a morning meditation, journaling, listening to like calming music, doing my skincare, and just like overall not having this time in the morning rushed at all, and just really loving and spending time with myself and starting the day off that way. And this kind of pours into my last tip, and it's showing up for yourself. And, for example, if you want to wake up earlier because you want to have a slower morning before work and you want to spend a little extra time with yourself, show up for yourself in that way out of respect for yourself. If you say that you're going to wake up early, do it. I think it's so important. If you are giving so much of your time elsewhere to other people's goals and just to other people, it's just so important to be able to show up for yourself and give yourself the time that you need. Because ultimately, if you aren't showing up for yourself and giving yourself the self-care that you need, how are you going to perform and be the best version of yourself and show up in ways that, you really want to if you aren't even actually taking care of yourself at the beginning of the day? And that kind of pours into actionable ways that you can change your life in 2025 to actually make your goals happen, following that kind of habit of wanting to wake up early and have a longer morning with yourself where you can be intentional with your time and not feel rushed. We get kind of like a dopamine hit when we write down all of our goals and we make our vision boards for the new year, and we tell ourselves the night before, I'm going to get up early and I'm going to, have a slow morning, I'm going to journal and I'm going to go for a walk and I'm going to do all these things. But then we wake up in the morning and we snooze our alarm And then we get into a cycle where we doubt ourselves and we don't respect ourselves because we can't show up for ourselves. I think waking up early has been one of the hardest things that I ever have had to kind of learn and do for myself. I don't know why, but I am a chronic snoozer. Okay. I love that snooze button on that alarm. But a way that you can kind of wake up early and show up for yourself and kind of start that habit is, instead of, trying to wake up at 5 a.m. when you usually wake up at 9 a.m., that's not realistic, okay? Give yourself some grace. Instead of trying to make that big of a jump, try to just wake up 15 minutes earlier every single day. If you wake up at 9 a.m., try to wake up at 8:45 a.m. and see how you feel and reflect on how you feel. It probably makes you feel a little bit better because you have just a little bit more time to breathe and to think about your outfit and enjoy a little bit more of your skincare time and getting ready in the morning. And then the next day you can wake up 15 minutes earlier and see how you feel. Kind of get your body and your, routine a little bit more used to it. If you just make that big jump, that's a way easier way to fail and to let yourself down and just to kind of say, oh, well, that didn't work for me. I'm just not an early morning person. That's not gonna happen for me. You have to make, these changes in these habits realistic. My second actionable way to make change in 2025 is daily movement. And I say this because movement really does cure so many things, okay? It's good for stress, it's good for focus, it's good for energy, it's good for confidence, it's good for self-respect. Movement and working out is so much more than just the physical. Honestly, the physical aspect of working out and daily movement is the last check on my list, because movement really does so many more things than just change your body, okay? It's actually way more beneficial for your mindset and just daily, life than anything. So take the time to figure out what type of movement serves you, okay? If you see somebody online and they're, weightlifting or doing Pilates every single day, don't just take that as oh, that's exactly what I should do. Go out and get class pass and try a bunch of different types of workouts. Try walking, try yoga, try Pilates, try weightlifting, try a HIIT workout like F45. Try all the things so that you can find what you really love, because movement, I promise, can be really fun and very addicting if you really like it. It's going to be so hard if you don't enjoy the type of workout that you're doing. It's going to be really, really tough to be consistent and actually want to get up every single day and do it. But when you find the workout that you are obsessed with, you crave it. You crave getting up in the morning or, going throughout your day and actually getting that workout in. And it kind of gets to a point where if you don't have it, you feel not as good and it makes your day not as good. And that's the type of place that we want to be in for 2025. Okay. For me personally, I cannot start my day if I have not had my workout. It really does set the tone for the whole entire day. It helps so much with just overall motivation, especially motivation, I think, because it's I started my day with a challenging task of, weightlifting, and I was super strong and I pushed myself. If I was able to accomplish that in the beginning of my day, I can go and accomplish so much more, and it gives me the motivation and power to do so. And then number 3 for actionable steps, I'm only giving you guys 3 steps because I feel like it can be very overwhelming to kind of have this whole list of things that you have to do to make change in your life. It really is simple to make changes in your life and to become a better person within just 3 daily habits that you can do. And the third one is to expand your mind by reading or journaling instead of scrolling and overconsumption. One of the ways that I feel like I get the most out of tune and kind of feeling the furthest away from myself is when I am in those moments of overconsumption. Because if you're just constantly scrolling and viewing other people's lives, it's really easy to feel really far away from your own life. And if you're just constantly filling your brain with like just kind of all of this information, that might not be really teaching you anything, it's really easy to kind of feel that sense of like brain fog and kind of just lost and almost paralyzed. And so I think, expanding your mind and really learning something and feeding your mind stuff to make you think and to make you grow as a person and to teach yourself, things, I think is really important. And you can do that through reading, or you can do it also through journaling, through journal prompts, because you can really you can learn so much about yourself through just journaling and, taking the time to think about your answers. But yeah, I think it's really important to, celebrate the small wins. If you decide to foster new habits this year, I think it's really important. If you wake up 15 minutes earlier than you're supposed to, celebrate that, okay? Give yourself some credit, because life is hard sometimes and fostering new habits is hard. But I promise you, if you start to show up for yourself every single day out of self-respect, you're going to go so far. You're going to go a long ways, and you're going to start to feel so much better in life. Life can be really sucky sometimes and really hurt and feel really, really heavy and hard at times. But if you can show up for yourself and try your best every single day, that's really all we got to do. And it can really make life so much easier. Life can be really, really fun and really amazing and such a good place. And the really cool thing about it is that you can make your life that way. It is your choice at the end of the day, like what you want to focus on and what type of person that you want to be and all the things. It's just kind of starting it is overwhelming and can be hard, but it's all about consistency, baby. It's all about consistency. I want to remind you that it's okay to start slow and go at your own pace. Don't be, pressured by where anybody else is at in their journey, because everybody started from somewhere and nobody's journey is going to look like anybody else's. It's definitely not going to look like yours, and that is really cool because we all are unique and have our own stories to tell. And that's what makes life interesting. Life would be so boring if we were all the same and we were all on the same journey and we all had the same, way of doing things and way of life. Like, that would be so boring. Now introducing our ending segment of Somewhat Thriving. Okay, it is called Thriving Thought of the Week. Clever, right? I want to end off every single episode with a thought that kind of can lead you into the week, whether it's like an affirmation, a quote that I'm loving, a mantra, just something that will help you thrive throughout the week and keep you thriving, okay? I've been really loving quotes recently and kind of being able to hear a quote and relate it to my own life and kind of reflect on like how I have experienced that and how it kind of, plays a role into my own life. And the one for this week is, your bad days are part of a good life. No one that has ever lived life for a long time, say somebody that is in their 80s or 90s, will ever tell you that they never had a bad day, okay? We all know that. That's really just like, okay, like, duh, Kayla, obviously we're all gonna have bad days. But that is part of a good life. And I think that the bad days make the good days so much better. And the bad days really help you gain so much gratitude in your life. And they really build who you are as a person and how you choose to react to those bad days. And we wouldn't ultimately be able to have a vibrant and amazing good life without the bad days. I love yapping with you guys. I hope that my words and my, thoughts can be relatable and make you guys feel a little bit more heard and seen, because life can just be really hard, and I think it's really comforting when you can listen to somebody talk about the ways that they're thinking, and it's really cool when somebody else kind of thinks the same way you do and makes you feel a lot less alone. And that's kind of just my goal for this podcast and for you guys to just feel a little bit better and a little less overwhelmed in this crazy life that we're living. Let me know how you guys are feeling in the comments, and let me know how you're feeling about the new year. I want to hear all the things, because it's absolutely amazing, like, that we're all on different journeys and we all have different things going on. I want to hear it all. I want to know if you're starting off 2025 as the best year yet, and you just bought a house, or you're getting married, or you're having a kid, or you just barely started your own business, or you've made the most money that you ever have before, or if you are just starting out and you're just getting into the gym, or if you just got into therapy because you've had a really tough, last few months, or if you have not started anything at all and you are just chilling. I want to know. I want to know it all, because it's cool that we're all on different pages of this big book of life. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you guys next Wednesday. Bye.